Are you ready to take thrift store and dollar store finds and turn them into stunning high-end decor? In today's video, I'm sharing a beautiful compilation of some of my favorite DIY decor dupes inspired by Pottery Barn, all of Ateliers, McGee Co, and so much more, all created on a budget. Hey friends, welcome back to DIYs with Sonja, where I show you how to get designer looks for way less. If you love Pottery Barn style DIYs, vintage inspired transformations, and decorating your home beautifully without breaking the bank, you're in the right place. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the bell so you never miss a high-end look for less. Let's jump into these budget-friendly designer-inspired DIYs you can recreate today. We're kicking things off with a dupe of Pottery Barn's oversized handcrafted sea glass garland, which retails for $128. Mine, it costs under $5 to make. Last fall, I picked up these assorted plastic ornaments from Temu. I had originally planned to use them for a Christmas DIY, but they weren't quite the right size. Instead of letting them go to waste, I saved them knowing they'll be perfect for something else. And this garland was it. Since I didn't have enough of one size, I decided to alternate between larger and smaller ornaments to stretch the garland's length and add visual interest. To give the clear plastic that frosted sea glass look, I used Rust-Oleum Ultra Cover Clear Gloss Spray. Pro tip, give them a full coat while rotating them to ensure even coverage. You can sink them into a floral foam or place them on pencils if they have holes, or skewers to spray them easily. Now for the fun part, the rope. The Pottery Barn version threads the rope through the ornaments, but I was about to melt holes into the plastic, so instead I wrapped nautical rope around the knots, tied a small knot, and left a tail to attach them. Yes, I did burn myself a little, because what's a DIY project without at least one minor injury? I knotted and glued each ornament individually, then tied them together to form the garland. I used the hot glue to attach them together. It was a bit time consuming, but so worth it. You could totally recreate this with Dollar Tree ornaments too. The result is beautiful piece that works for summer decor and beyond. At the end, I simply left a larger loop of rope and tied a knot at the top to finish it off. That became the end of my garland. I think these turned out so cute, and the best part, they cost me under $5 to make. I'm really happy with how they came out. They are perfect for summer decor with a coastal beachy vibe, but honestly, you could style them year round depending on your space. Next up is a dupe of Pottery Barn Artisan Studio Rope Candle, which sells for a whopping $79. I recreated the look using a citronella candle I found at Dollarama for $4.50. As you can see, the pot already had great texture, but I wanted to mimic the rope detailing from the inspiration piece. I used a nautical rope and hot glued it around the entire pot. Then, for even more authentic look, I mixed a bit of plaster of Paris into white paint and applied it over the rope to add texture and blend everything together. Once it dried, I painted the inside edge to unify the look without touching the candle wax. The great thing about citronella candle is that once they burn down, you can clean out the pot and reuse it, just pop in another candle or even make your own. And for under $6, this might be my favorite dupe so far. If you're enjoying these Pottery Barn inspired DIYs and want more high-end look for less, hit that like button and subscribe. I've got tons of budget-friendly decor ideas coming your way. For our third DIY, I'm working with a thrifted conch shell. I wasn't quite sure what to do with until I saw Pottery Barn's clam and conch shell candle holders. They're coastal, sculptural, and expensive. While my conch doesn't sit flat like the Pottery Barn version, I still love that organic shape. I used the same textured paint mixture from the last project and gave it a full coat. This really brought out all the natural ridges and details. Now, I didn't add a candle to mine because it tilts, and I was worried it might crack if I poured a hot wax. But if yours sits flat, you could place a glass votive inside or carefully pour your own wax into it. Just do some research, or you can even add some of those sandy looking candles with wicks. But I'm just so worried that the shell itself will crack. But like I said, do a little bit of research to find out if that is the case. Even as just a decorative piece, it still ties in beautifully with the rest of these summer-ready dupes. Now for my last project, I'm tackling another Pottery Barn dupe, this time inspired by the bench-ride rectangular coffee table in a sea drift finish. This gorgeous natural wood piece retails for $13.99, but of course, we're recreating the look for a whole lot less. If you've been around for a while, you might remember this table. A friend of mine was getting rid of it and left it out on a curb, so I scooped it up and gave it a second life. I've actually refinished it twice already, and I just love the look of this table so much that I wanted to bring it back to life again, but with a softer, more natural feel this time, closer to the sea drift finish that the Pottery Barn is known for. Now, the last time I refinished it, the top unfortunately started to peel. And let me tell you, my daycare kids saw that as a green light to start peeling it even more. Eventually, I had to cover it just to keep their little hands off, but it kept lifting on its own regardless. So it was time for another refresh. I started by cleaning the entire surface and giving the top a light, soft, scuffed sanding, just enough to remove any loose or peeling areas. I didn't sand it all the way down since I planned to apply a paint wash, not a full coverage coat. For the wash, I used Silk All-in-One mineral paint in the color Sandcastle. This paint has a built-in primer, but I still diluted it to create a more transparent, natural effect. I mixed it about 1-to-3 ratio, 1 part paint to 3 parts water. Using a brush, I applied the wash in sections, then wiped it back using a lint-free paper towel to soften and blend the finish. I repeated the process across the entire table. The wash settled beautifully into the wood, especially in the carved details and corners that would have been a pain to fully sand. While the paint wash alone gave it a nice soft base, it was still a little patchy in some areas. To even it out and add warmth, I followed up with a water-based gel stain. It's called the Voodoo Gel Stain by Dixie Bell in Whiskey Barrel. I love this product. It's so super easy to work with. I applied a thin, even coat using an applicator sponge and let it settle into the wood. This really helped pull the tones together and gave the table that rich, natural depth I was going for. To seal everything and hopefully prevent any future peeling, I applied a protective top coat gator hide. This is a water-resistant, durable finish that will help protect the surface from daily wear, especially in high-traffic rooms like this one. And here's how it turned out. It may not look drastically different from the last version, but I love the more cohesive natural wood tone. The new stain is also much less yellow and I think it brings much less orange, and I think it brings the whole piece closer to that high-end Pottery Barn aesthetic I'm starting off today with the designer dupe from Amber Interiors. I've been eyeing these beautiful carved stone bowls, but at $80 a piece, they're definitely on the pricey side. So I decided to recreate the look for a whole lot less. I picked up this ceramic bowl from Dollarama for just $1.50. You could also use similar ones from Dollar Tree or your local thrift store. The bowl already had some texture, but it was too repetitive. I wanted it to look more organic, more like a real stone. To give it a natural stone texture, I used Dixie Bell's mud and applied it with a small spatula, dabbing it in random spots. This process is quick and easy and really transforms the surface. Once the mud was dry, I painted the bowl using Dixie Bell's Ecru chalk paint, dabbing it on lightly with a damp paper towel. Then I layered in some coffee chalk paint from Dixie Belle as well in the same way for dimension, finishing with a touch of burnt umber acrylic paint to give it a warm aged patina. Amber Interiors suggests using these bowls as they are, or as candle holders or incense sand bowls. So that is exactly what I did. I added some sand and incense, and I absolutely love the result. It's such a beautiful and minimal addition to my decor. Speaking of incense, while browsing Amber Interior's site, I came across another beautiful incense holder that inspired my next DIY. I wanted to mimic the look, but couldn't find the perfect bowl, so I picked up a simple clay saucer for flower pots from Dollarama. For the incense holder insert, I grabbed some air dry clay, also from Dollarama, and shaped it into a small ball. Flattened one side so it could sit securely in the saucer. Using an incense stick, I made multiple holes, some slightly larger than others, to accommodate different sizes. I wrap the clay in a damp paper towel while drying to prevent cracking. While the clay dried, I painted the saucer with Dixie Belle's Midnight Skies chalk paint, which is a rich dark blue-black. Once dry, I added depth with a mix of burnt umber and coffee chalk paint, lightly brushing it inside the saucer to replicate the dimension in the inspiration piece. Before attaching the incense insert, I apply Dixie Belle's gilding wax in antique gold to give it that elevated luxe finish. Once the gilding wax was on, I used Gorilla Glue to glue the piece to the little tray. So once assembled, it turned out to be such a chic, high-end looking piece, perfect on a coffee table tray or a shelf. If you're loving these DIY high-end home decor dupes, don't forget to tap that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I share new budget-friendly designer DIYs every single week, and you won't want to miss what's coming up next. Next up is a gorgeous designer vase dupe, the Santiago vessel from Amber Interiors, which sells for a jaw-dropping $400. Mine just $3 from the thrift stores. While the shape was very similar, my size was much smaller. So I prepped the glass vase using Isabel's Bonding Boss, a primer that helps paint adhere to tricky surfaces like glass. Once dry, I painted it with Ixabel's coffee chalk paint, which is a deep, moody brown that shifts with the light. It sometimes looks black, sometimes brown, and adds such a beautiful richness and organic designer feel. The final look has all the charm and texture of the $400 version without the splurge. Lastly, I wanted to include a beautiful wooden accent stool that my friend Sandra actually found for me on the side of the road. It was completely free and just needed a little love. The shape was perfect, but it looked very gray and weathered. I gave it a full sand down using my rotary sander, starting with 40 grit and working up to 120. I use sandpaper by hand to get in all the small details and carved areas. Although I don't have a specific store dupe for this one, you can find stools in various prices, also vintage and new on Etsy and many other high-end store sites. So it's really hard to pinpoint which one gave me the inspiration for this piece. Nevertheless, I spent $0 on it, and that was the best part. Once clean, I apply Dixie Belle's Voodoo Gel Stain in All Natural, which helps prevent the wood from turning orange or red when sealed. It's water-based, non-toxin, and easy to use indoors, which was great since we're currently in a major heat wave. To apply the stain, I am also using Dixie Belle's applicator sponge, which is a great and easy way to apply the stain because you can really get into all the little nooks and crannies of the wood. And if you're not familiar how to apply gel stain, you apply gel stain first and then you wipe it off. To finish it off, I seal it with Dixie Belle's Gator Hide using the blue applicator sponge. This added a soft sheen and protects the wood beautifully. I haven't decided exactly where it's going yet, but I styled it quickly just to show you how gorgeous it looks now. From roadside find to designer dupe, this piece is such a win. We're kicking things off with a $4.50 glass vase I picked up at Dollarama. They have a great variety of shape and sizes. Any of them would work, but I chose the simple one to recreate a stunning dark glaze ceramic vase I found on McGee Co's for $26. First, I took the vase outside and gave it a coat of matte black spray paint as a base. I let that dry completely. Fill a bucket or a bin with water big enough to submerge your vase. Now here's the fun part. Spray some looking glass spray paint. I use Krylon Silver Mirror Effect spray from Michaels directly into the water. This gives that dreamy mercury glass mirror-like texture. I follow that with light bursts of nutmeg and leather brown spray paint on top of the water as well, and then I slowly dip the vase in. You can dip it from the top or bottom, either works. Just try to submerge it as much as possible to capture the marbled effect. Carefully lift it out, let the excess water drip off, and place it somewhere it can dry without being touched. Once dry, the finish is absolutely stunning, glossy, rich, and so high-end looking. I'm honestly obsessed with how this turned out. Next, I'm going to recreate the $35 Midvale crock from McGee Co. Perfect for kitchen counters, but I'll be styling mine in the bathroom. I've had this old Maxwell House coffee tin laying around forever. We don't we haven't drunk this coffee in years, but it's sturdy and great shape for this project. So it's not necessarily a dollar store find, but something that is easily found in pretty much any household. I painted the entire tin using Dixie Belle's burlap chalk paint. Just one coat gave great coverage, but if you're using regular acrylic paint, you can mix in a little cornstarch or baking soda for that thicker, more matte finish. Once the paint dried, I took it outside and misted it from a distance with leather brown spray paint, rotating as I went to get that natural speckled look. I added in a few quick sprays of black to give it more depth and dimension. I love how it turned out. It has that handmade rustic pottery vibe that's perfect for McGee Co style. I'll be using mine to store tools and accessories. If you're loving these easy McGee Co dupes so far, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps my channel and lets me know you want to see more high-end DIY decor like this. For our third DIY, we're tackling wall art. McGee Co carries tons of beautiful frame prints, but the price tags, not so cute. I discovered an amazing Etsy shop that offers over 1,000 affordable art prints downloads for under $5. I'll link it in the description. They have options for every style from vintage and coastal to modern and seasonal. I chose a soft seaside theme print to match the recent bathroom makeover I shared over on my home channel, and I picked up an 8x10 canvas from Dollar Store. Before disassembling the canvas, I applied Mod Podge to the art paint to give it that textured, hand-painted feel. For clouds, I used brush strokes following their shape, and for the grassy parts, I worked in small circular motions. Now I let that dry, and while that's drying, I carefully remove the canvas fabric and I spray painted the wooden frame in antique bronze. The cool part, the raw wood soaks up the paint unevenly, giving it this beautiful two-tone vintage finish. Once it dried, I took the canvas and I trimmed it to fit the back of the frame. And I used Mod Podge to attach the print to the canvas. And then I hot glued the frame to the canvas. It looks like something you'd spend over $80 to $100, and the whole thing costs just a few dollars. We're starting off with the sweet little bird I picked up at Dollarama for $4.50. The inspiration for this piece came from a beautiful decorative figurine from Simone and Ivy, or maybe it's Simon and Ivy, I am not sure. Either way, I loved the look and knew I could recreate it. To get that high-end metallic finish, I started with the coat of metallic gold spray paint, applied lightly outdoors. Once it was dry, I brought it inside and gave it some character with a bit of black acrylic paint. I used stippling brush, dabbed most of the paint off on a paper towel, and gently brushed the raised areas to create depth and an antique look. You can also wipe any excess if you went a little too heavy with the acrylic paint, you can wipe it off with a paper towel. This simple technique completely transformed the piece. This simple technique completely transformed the piece and brought it so much closer to the original designer version for a fraction of the cost. I love how it turned out. Now, if you've been here for a while, you know how much I love creating high-end dupes, especially when it comes to home decor. But one thing that's always surprisingly pricey is wall art. Those moody vintage-inspired landscapes I love so much can cost a small fortune. Our next project is this gorgeous wicker wall basket. The original inspiration was $54, but I found mine on Temu for way less. The only issue, the tone was a little too yellow for my taste. To warm it up and get that designer look, I used the Dixie Belle's Voodoo Gel Stain in color Fireside. I misted the basket lightly with water first and then used a stippling brush to apply the stain, making sure to get it into all the woven crevices. I did try with the paper towel first, but stippling brush worked much better. If you are enjoying this video so far, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, I would love it if you became a part of my YouTube family by pressing the subscribe button, and make sure to turn on all the notifications so you get notified when new videos pop up. Don't forget to do the bottom and the inside of the basket as well. Once it dried, I went in with a bit of Dixie Belle's coffee bean chalk paint that I watered down and randomly brushed over the surface with a brush, and then blended it in with paper towel to add dimension and variation. The final look has so much more character, and I think it turned out beautifully. It's going to be such a cozy addition to my decor. For the last project, I used this cookbook holder I've had for years, originally from Dollarama for $4. It's been hard to style it in my kitchen because of the big logo on the front. But I recently saw a $48 inspiration piece and I knew I could give this one a glow up. First, I removed the center lip with a bit of elbow grease, a screwdriver, and a hammer helped pop the nails out. Then I took it outside and sanded it down with the 6-degree sandpaper using my rotary sander to remove the logo and prep the surface. However, I did forget to turn my camera on, so I'm just showing you what it looks like. I'll sand it down, and then I'm going to turn it over and sand the other side. I tried the stain wash first using that same Dixie Belle coffee bean paint and water. It is 1 part paint, 3 parts water, but the logo still peeked through. So I went with the solid paint and layer, and once I applied that, I wiped it down. And then I wanted to use wanted to add a faux wood grain by using the Dixie Belle's graining tool. I applied fireside gel stain in section. I combed it with a graining tool first. And then to add the wood grain, I did use their other graining tool and wiggled it in motion to mimic real wood. After a few layers and a little experimenting, so once I had the wood grains in, I brushed it again with the little graining tool just to blend everything in. So I was happy with this result. I do think that the graining tool will work amazing on a larger pieces, but I made it work for this as well. I finished it off with a rope detail on the top, just like the inspiration piece, and I repurposed a cabinet handle to the front of for a finish functional look. And that's it. Make sure to let me know down in the comments which one was your favorite project. I hope you loved today's roundup of high-end DIY decor dupes, proof that you can turn thrift store and dollar store finds into timeless designer-inspired pieces. Whether you're channeling that Pottery Barn charm, all of Atelier minimalism, or McGee Co warmth, there's always a way to recreate beautiful spaces on a budget. If you enjoy these look for less DIYs, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to DIYs with Sonja, and share your favorite project in the comments. I love to hear what you're planning to recreate. Thanks so much for watching and spending time with me today. Until next time, keep recreating, stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next DIY.